Entrepremommies, we share from experience. Moms talk about things that affect moms in general. The mommy entrepreneurs, we are the moms that handle business, and that means a lot. Remember, Entrepremommies.
Hello, and welcome to Entrepremommies. I am Tiffy T, the Resellqueen, your co-host, and
and I'm Nicole Flamer. How is everybody doing?
Well, Nikki, how's your week been?
Oh gosh, my week has been crazy. So my week has definitely been crazy. I moved. And
right.
I
see in the background.
I still got the boxes in the background. I figured it'd be authentic here. Right? This is like this room is the least. I haven't paid any attention to this room, and this is my office, my study. But I'm still trying to get my systems together, getting my schedules, my systems, my plans and stuff. And I'm not quite there yet, but as a mom and a business owner, you got to keep everything moving regardless of if everything is set up properly. But sometimes, last week, I got bus schedules wrong. So my kids, I didn't know where my kids were for like an hour. I didn't know which bus stop they were at. Yeah, today I lost my keys. I have no idea. Like, I took the kids to the bus stop. I came back. I don't know where I laid my keys down. And it took me a good 30 minutes to find them.
Oh my goodness, we gotta get you a hiding key.
Trash and everything. I was like, I don't know what I did with them. But it's just little things like that, having to find documents that are still packed away. Because I'm trying to go virtual. I'm trying to put everything on the cloud,
right.
but that's not. I still have boxes and boxes of files and files of things that, scanning and uploading. I've already tried to get most of the people in my life, if they send me something, to send it an electronic copy, and then it automatically goes into like my Dropbox. But I still have files and files of things for 5 kids of. And then the special needs, that adds like 2 more file boxes of IEPs and psych evals and stuff. So like what I'm seeing, I guess, in the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, is just me trying to create a flow, create a schedule, all those good things. So I would say that I'm probably about 60% there.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's not too bad.
That's good. You're just like my office. I'll get to that last.
I'll get to this last. Yeah. Like today, actually, that's one of my things to do, is to kind of sit here and organize it a little better, because I'm ready to start working again, like really putting some time. Some things have happened. Just a sidebar. One of the things I noticed, and I think you might have actually put a post up about this through Resellqueen, but my shipping prices have like tripled. And I had noticed it when I was doing my drop ship orders the other day. So there's a range. I can choose between like 6 different companies to ship the product from. Now, if I get it shipped from China, if I get it shipped from a Chinese company, they're typically cheaper. But for some products, it's worth it to use the U.S. Express. So there's one item that is very popular, and so I was doing express shipping because it was only like maybe, oh God, I'm trying to think. It was only about $9 or $10. So I went on there to go do my orders. This thing had jumped up to $23 for shipping. That's more. More than my markup. That's more than. I was like, oh no.
Oh my.
And I was like, how did this sneak by me? So yeah, that was one business surprise. I was like, oh, I need to get on, because I haven't really been paying attention. I was like, oh, I need to get on here and change these shipping rates, or because that's ridiculous. It went from like $11 to $23.
That's significant.
That is significant.
I did go in during this week, and I raised all my prices on the stuff that I get wholesale
Yeah.
because shipping costs have gone up. I mean, not just getting it to me, but also the shipping costs that I got to pay to get it to the customer. They, they go up every year around this time because it's the holiday shipping, and the post office, makes their racket during this time of the year. And then they'll say, oh, they're going to go back down after Christmas. And then you get like a week reprieve. And then in January, they go back up to their new rates.
Right.
So I put everything up. I didn't mark everything up too high. I only marked stuff up like another $1.
Yeah.
Like, and really, I don't think that's that much because I provide free shipping.
Right.
And right now, the stuff that I sell the most of, it's all first class.
Yeah.
I am not shipping priority unless like a person buys multiples and it weighs more than a pound. So that's where I'm at for shipping right now. And anything with Amazon, I'm not worried about because I don't take care of shipping with Amazon. But I have gone up on my prices because the shipping right now it'll make you cry.
Yes. I do free shipping too, but I included in my markup. And that's why when they went up into $23 and it's more than the markup I had on the item, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not making any money on this with the shipping. This is, this is going to hurt. So, and I'm like, I hope I didn't like on autopilot, send anything that way before I noticed. And I think I would have noticed. Yeah. But I was just like, oh my goodness. So yeah, that's a hurt piece. But so that was just a kind of red flag. Pay attention. It's time to get back to business and pay attention to what's going on because things are happening. And, because I was moving, I wasn't really paying attention. So.
Well, you paid attention to that.
I certainly did. I was like, right up real quick with that.
Well, it's funny because like I was just looking at my books and that was mostly what I did over the weekend. I looked at my books to get my accounting together because I like to get my taxes done early.
Me too. Yeah.
I am not one that likes to wait until like some people like to do an extension so they don't get their taxes done until like June.
Right.
I don't like that. I don't like that. That's not how I do my business.
Right.
I like my taxes done to be done like the first day you can file electronically.
Yes. Yeah. Me too. Me too. Yeah.
Now that's probably not going to happen this year.
Yeah.
But it will probably happen within the month of March.
Right.
Because it's not just me I gotta file. If it was just me I gotta file, well, first day I could file electronic is going to happen that way.
Right.
But I'm like, what else more can I buy?
Yeah.
Because this has been a stellar year.
Yeah.
For both of our businesses, for mine and for my husband. And he's actually has stopped buying a lot of inventory, not because it's not available, but because it's gotten more expensive.
Yes.
Within the liquidation market, but also he's working so much more now because of the needs of cable. And, everyone's working from home, so all the cable breaks down. So he really hasn't been getting a lot of inventory in, but he's still selling every night. We're shipping stuff out. I have little bags underneath my eyes right now because I was waiting until like the last moment I could ship because it never fails. I do my orders and then here comes another 2 orders.
Yeah.
I have to do do I want to ship them or do I not? I'm like, let me just ship them. And of course, that's what happened. I watched Adele last night.
Okay.
And I waited till that went off and I said, all right, we'll do the shipping. I did my shipping, get ready to watch the recording of Insecure. And here comes another sale. And I was like, yeah.
That's going to have to wait till tomorrow.
That's exactly
right.
That's exactly. Well, I placed myself on a 2-day window to get things out, but I am a next day shipper.
Yeah.
I don't just like let my stuff just collect because I don't like that because I need to get more product in then. Right. So, but that, and I'm just trying to get everything scheduled for how the holidays are going to be. As the holidays are always crazy in my family, my husband's family. Like this will be like our first Christmas without my grandma. So everyone used to go to her house. You know, so it's like, we don't really like, we're kind of like, what do we do? What, like, because the person that told us what to do isn't here anymore, you know, because she would call you and tell you what you're going to do.
Right.
And so actually this weekend, I am coming back to Coatesville, Pennsylvania. And my family, we're going to have a Reason family Thanksgiving on the 20th. So I will be down for that. And then I'll be back down the next week for Thanksgiving with my immediate family, you know, with my mom and my son. And then we have our high school reunion.
Oh gosh, yes.
I can't wait, girl. I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to.
I can't wait. And it's so funny. It's I'm like, oh my goodness, it's really coming. So I can't really wait till we get to talk to other entrepreneurs in our class.
Oh yes.
Because I always feel like whenever, like, say, like if we wanted to profile someone, we could just look at people we went to school with.
Yeah, we have a pretty talented class
full of side hustles, you know, or full on self-sustainable businesses.
Right. Yeah.
Because I went to school with people like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think part of it is the mentality of where we grew up. You know, we grew up in I'd say a multicultural blue collar town.
Yes.
So even in the poor neighborhoods, you had all different races. And even in the more well-to-do neighborhoods, you had all different races.
Yes.
And even though you know, every place doesn't have racial harmony.
Right.
I do feel like when we went to school, we had that in our,
I think so.
in our class. Like I remember talking to people that were in other school districts, and they asking me about if that was a problem. I'm like, we don't got those type of issues.
Right.
And I think it's because we are a blue collar town. So, you know, we had that one industry that took care of everybody, you know, whether you worked directly for that industry helped you too. You know, because it employed so many people. Those people were able to spend money. So you were able to start a business. And, you know, I think about all the people that my dad used to work with there. Every one of his buddies, everyone that he worked with, they all had a side business. My father was a welder. Another guy was an electrician. Another guy was a plumber.
Yeah.
They all had side businesses, and they all used each other.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, so and I think growing up watching that formulated our class.
Yes.
To be entrepreneurial.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say where we are from, there is an entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, at one time we had a very thriving main street with restaurants and all kinds of businesses. I can remember going school shopping in Coatesville, like going to the JC Penney's. I think it's It's like I forget. You start to forget because you don't see it anymore.
Yeah, I used to go to the shoe store.
Yes,
all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we used to shop in town and
go to the Five and Dime.
Yep, Five and Dime.
Go to the Five and Dime.
Kim's Far East. Remember Kim's Far East? I used to love going in there.
Loved it going in there.
Yes,
a whole other world.
Yeah,
it had everything.
Yeah, and it was kind of like a microcosm of our community. You know, we had, like you said, we had different races, different cultures. We're an immigrant town, so we had people that whose you know, grandparents or parents had immigrated from Poland, Germany, Italy, you know, some places in the Middle East and stuff. And then we got Lancaster County out here, so we had the Amish. We had that influence because we're only, you know, 10, 15 minutes from horses and buggies. So you got the Pennsylvania Dutch and Germans and all that kind of stuff. So we had a lot of multicultural influences, and we had a lot of people who took what was from their culture and then shared it with the rest of us. I mean, a lot of the restaurants, you know, were things where fit like Zorba's, you know, we had Greek food. We had food. Yeah, we had all kinds of stuff. Good food, wasn't it? Yeah, that was good stuff. Yes, it was good stuff. So, Yeah, the kids that we went to school. Oh, sorry, there's my alarm. The kids that we went to school with, they have that spirit too, and you can see it in our class. Our class is pretty talented.
Yes, I'm so very excited for that. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
So on to this one topic that you brought up to me, Nikki, talking about how motherhood can teach you with your business pitching.
Yeah.
And I read the article that was an entrepreneur. It was by Sherry Atwood, and she kind of broke down some thought processes on what to use when you provide a pitch, and kind of also put it towards motherhood. So I started thinking about, like, for me, and I hate to say that I start out with lying, but I used to convince my oldest child every night that he ate chicken.
Yeah.
Because I had to convince him of that, because we didn't have chicken every night, but he thought we had chicken every night.
Oh my goodness.
And I really, even though, yes, it was a lie, however, I learned to do it so well that he believed me.
Right. That's
even
pretty good.
Adulthood, where it wasn't until adulthood that he realized, you were lying to me back then. Yes, I was. Because I needed to eat your meal, and we didn't have the money for me to make you a meal and make me a meal.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, I did.
You learn these things. You
eat it now, don't you?
Yeah. I would say like motherhood and business sense. Like, the one thing I have learned is customer service, because my kids are picky, and they can be picky eaters. I think I've learned that one size doesn't fit all. And so, like, when I'm dealing with people in the business sense, if we come into some sort of, disagreement, if you will, or challenge, I have learned from my kids to try to see it from a different perspective, to try to see it from, like, some of my older kids have, some of all my kids got sensory issues in one way or another. But, so there's different times they didn't want to wear certain clothes. They didn't want to eat certain foods. My son would only eat chicken nuggets and spaghetti for years. Couldn't get him to eat anything. And, until he went to a school, and, I guess they had a method that they probably need to copyright and sell, because now he eats anything and everything. So
I was going to say, your child eats.
Yes, they eat. Yes. Yeah. And, but Cyrus was, at one point, it was only spaghetti and chicken nuggets. That's it. Nothing else. But I've learned that being able to see things from somebody else's perspective and somebody else's pain points, it's important. And when I have customers that have challenges, if I have late shipping, or, that's probably my biggest headache is shipping. But, just different things, pleasing different people, setting expectations. So my customer service, because sometimes I want to be like, you know what? I don't care. To any of my customers listening, never to you. That was never the case. But
never.
No, there was always other customers. But sometimes I want to be like, because I know what happened or something. Like, it's like, I know that the product is coming. It'll get to there when it gets there. But I've learned to listen with patience and, understand that people are buying things for birthday presents. People having what I call Amazon expectations. People, different things. So I've learned that I have to see it from their perspective. And I would definitely say that my kids were the number one teachers of that. So
I have to say, one thing that you touched on was pain point.
Mm-hmm.
And when I used to go through like sales training,
mm-hmm.
that was one thing that they've always taught was listen to your customer,
mm-hmm.
find out their pain point, and you take that pain point, turn it around, and that's how you get your sale.
Yeah.
You say, oh, sorry, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, you talked about having problems doing XYZ. The best thing about this product is you won't have that issue anymore. Now you've given them a solution. And I've always heard that one saying that the best businesses provide the best solutions.
Yes. That's
and you kind of do learn that through parenthood.
Yeah.
If you haven't, how can I say, don't have like improv skills, you're going to learn that becoming a parent.
Yes.
Because kids say things that you're like, I don't know where you came up with this.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me answer this in the best way I can.
Nice and delicately, right?
Use words that you can understand so that I don't influence you the wrong way. Things like that, because kids, they have a way of humbling you.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah.
That if you really want to be humbled, have a child.
Yeah.
You'll get humbled real fast.
My daughter told somebody, Mom, you wore those pants yesterday. And I'm like, everybody doesn't need to know I wore these jeans yesterday. They don't need to know that. Like, that's my business.
What's funny is I think I know which child it was of yours.
Mom, you wore those jeans yesterday. And I'm like, do we have to put it on Front Street? Does everybody have to know? No.
Mommy got stuff to do.
Mommy got stuff to do. And you know what? I'm like, jeans, shoot.
They got two more wears.
They got two more wears, right? I wasn't that busy the day before. I'm like,
I didn't cause a sweat.
And you got to break some jeans in sometimes. Yes. So they're not always comfortable day one, but day two, they fit perfect.
They slide in all nice. Right. You're like, okay, you don't have to jump.
No, exactly. But she told everybody, I'm like, thanks a lot. But,
I know which child it was.
Yeah.
But I think about, when you have to pitch, when you get to that point where hopefully you're, going to investors, you can't give a 2-hour pitch. I think everyone now knows about Shark Tank.
Yes.
And how they go on there, they have like a 30, I don't know, is it a 1 minute and a half, some type of pitch. That's essentially kind of how it works in most venture capitalist places. You come in with your presentation, you give your pitch, you give your main points that you need them to know, and you're basically saying, this is why I need your money.
Right.
Okay. So in a way, that is sort of how it works with most investment opportunities for your business, unless of course someone personally that's like, that's a good idea,
right? Let me put some money behind that.
Here's a check. Now I personally don't know anyone that does things like that. However, you might be in that situation,
right?
Worry about that. But if you and I think also if you think about when a person asks, oh, what do you do, you should already have those main points right there. Someone asked me what I do, say I'm a media personality that likes to talk about making money and helping business so people can have access to financial freedom. That's my answer.
Yes.
I've come up with that. Someone says, well, what is it that you do? Because it's kind of hard to say what I do.
Right. I feel you. I draw a blank every time. Yes.
Because none of the companies that I have make sense with each other.
Right.
So I have the cleaning, I have the virtual call center. That doesn't go together. Right. Then I have the resale business and the liquidations. And then, media personality. I'm a podcast host. I'm a YouTube host. So I try to throw all that together. I'm like, what is it that I do?
Yes.
As long as the direct deposits keep hitting, that's all that matters. Right. That's my real quick answer for what it is that I do. And then I formulated that over time. Over time, that has changed. It hasn't been as long. It used to be, I'm a YouTuber. And then it's like, what do you talk about on YouTube? Oh, I talk about how to make money selling stuff. Oh, so what's that about? So it's progressed. But I think for everyone with your business, you should come up with your pitch, because you never know who you could be sitting next to. The person says, oh, what is it that your company does? Oh, we provide services to blah, blah, blah type of people that need answers with blah, blah, blah question and so forth. And, little tidbit about why that's helpful. You never know who you could be sitting next to. You know, I like to always tell people, I may not be able to need your services, but I could know someone that might.
Right. Connections. That's very true.
Just this weekend, I actually something I didn't even tell you about yet. I purchased software, in the middle of purchasing software to help me with leads.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And in fact, I was going to tell you about it too, but I was listening to, the presentation. I've had the presentation twice at this point, because when I had it the first time, it was kind of late at night, and I knew it was intrigued me, but because of how late it was, I wanted to make sure I got it.
Okay.
And so I went through the process now, purchasing the lead generation system, and it has other things with it that is not just with lead generation. They also have like networking, advertising things with it that you can use, and like thank you gifts and things like that. And other money making opportunities for you that you can like give to the people that are like your nose. So you can kind of monetize your nose or whatever. And so I was like, wow, as I'm listening to this, and I was on there with another person, and thankfully this other person knows who I'm talking about. And I was like, I think I know someone else that could really use this, like a little bit more than I could.
Right. And
so I'm like, okay, I reached out to her, let her know, okay, I got something that you can use that will help with your business.
Right.
And then with the whole, component of, okay, anyone that says no, you can still monetize them.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but you can still monetize them somehow.
Yeah.
And, she's like, bet.
Yeah. Well, for the work that it takes to like even talk to somebody or pitch to somebody and then get a no, to be able to monetize that is great, because then it's not like you wasted your time.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And so when I was listening to this guy, I actually got to him from another network marketer.
Okay.
And the way that he kind of works it out was like, I'll talk to anybody. He was like, even if you don't sign up under me. He was like, because eventually it all comes to me eventually type of thing. But he's like, I like to show people how to have financial freedom. Like, okay, you and I are in line.
Right. Yeah. Working towards the same goals.
And even like I've had other presentations where I'm like, that's not really for me.
Right.
But I know someone else.
Right.
With their business, and I've linked them up. And so it turned out it wasn't a waste of time for the person to do the presentation to me.
Right.
Because in a way, I did selling for them for free.
Right. Yep.
It cost them their time to talk to me. I heard their pitch and figured out, okay, the pain points that they were providing solutions for. I may have known someone that had that pain point and said, oh, I found a solution for you. And boom, now that person, they basically kind of got a sale off of me.
Right.
Even though I didn't purchase what they were selling because it wasn't of need for me.
Right.
But just putting their word out there. That's all they had to do.
Yeah.
It wasn't a waste of their time at that point.
Yeah. No, that's excellent. And that's something I definitely need to work on, is coming up with a pitch for myself that kind of encompasses everything. Because I'm similar to you. I got different things in different arenas. And this is where it's funny, where I have the problem is like, if you've ever done online dating.
Oh, girl.
And people ask you what you do, and it's like, how can I describe this? Because when you're doing the online dating, you have to kind of, people are looking at what you're saying, like what you're doing, like, okay, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm a police officer, like, then people get an image of what kind of person you are. But if you are like somebody, because I've toyed with the idea of being like, oh, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm I'm a creator. And so here's a funny sort of weird situation that happened to me. I met another life coach, because I do that too on the side. I met another life coach on a dating site. And
wow.
So he called me on the phone. He's like, we were, texting back and forth. This was a couple of months ago. We were texting back and forth. And he's like, can I call you? And I was like, sure. Now, typically, I'm not a big phone call person because I don't have a big phone call life. I got too many
You got too
things
much
going on. Kids,
right.
It's loud. I don't want to scare you away. So you hear my background, right? So he was like, can we talk on the phone? So I said, okay, I got a couple minutes. We can talk. So he called and he was like, okay. He's like, you're a life coach. He's like, what do you do? And I said, I do law of attraction. And he was like, oh, okay. He says, well, I see you have all these things listed as, he's like, but what have you mastered? And I was like, I said, is this a job interview? And he said, yes, it is. And I said, okay, I'm not looking to be interviewed. I'm not looking for that. Cause I said, I get what you're saying about what have you mastered, but I don't look at life like that as a mastery of subjects. I look at life as like a journey and an education. Like, I don't think I've really mastered anything, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But this guy, he was like, oh, he's like, there's something wrong with you. He's like, and you're coaching us. Oh, he went in. So I said, you know what? I don't think we're a good fit. So I hung up on him. Don't you know he called me back like 3 or 4 times? And I'm like, all because I didn't have a good answer to his. What do you do question? What have you
what makes me think about?
I don't know.
Recently in the news, in pop culture news, Soulja Boy has been around because Kanye West was on, I think it's called Drink Champs, their podcast, and he was just, talking off the left side of his mouth.
Oh God.
So he said some things about Soulja Boy. He actually has apologized to Soulja Boy.
Did he?
But Soulja Boy was on an interview with the Breakfast Club a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And he talked about like his business acumen, and I was quite impressed.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he don't need to sell no more records.
Okay.
He has his fingers in a lot of different areas for different revenue.
Yes.
And he was on another podcast. I forget the name of the podcast. Actually, I don't know if it was a business podcast or if they were more hip hop, and they were trying to tell him that he was doing too much. And he was like, I'm trying to be a billionaire.
Right.
He was like, I'm not trying just to be a rapper. I'm trying to be a billionaire. Right. And this is what I need to do to be a billionaire. Right. So I kind of I used to say I'm a jack of all trades, master of none.
Right.
Because and I used to feel so bad about that.
Yes, me too.
but that's when I was younger, when I was under the impression that you had to master one thing.
Right. Yep.
Why do I have to?
You don't. Right. Yeah.
Why can't I just grow as a person and branch off here and go, wow, I like that. I'll continue with that. Oh, I liked that last year. I'm going to continue with that. You can do that. It's your life.
It's your life. Right. Who came up with the idea that you had to master something, that you had to be like, I know some people who have done one thing their whole life, 60 years. And it's like, that's great. And it's amazing. And it's beautiful. But I have never had that in my whole, you know what I mean? I've always been all over the place with different interests and different things. And I'm like, well, why can't I do it all? Just like, why can't I explore it all? I mean, I used to feel bad too. I used to feel really bad. I used to feel like I did not have any direction. But then I'm just like, what's direction? I mean, what's like, I also know people who are miserable. I mean, that might be a nice transition into our next topic, but I know people who are doing things and they're miserable and they're only doing them because that's all they know how to do. That's all they've ever done. So,
but see, there was a time, I think, that was the mindset. The mindset was, all right, I graduated high school. I'm not going to be a doctor or a lawyer. So I don't need to go to college. I'm going to go to the factory.
Yep.
And I'll get my factory job. I'm going to get my pension.
Yep.
And I'm going to work there for about 30, 40, 50 years. That was the life cycle of how that worked.
Yes.
It don't work that way no more.
No.
Gone are the days of someone working somewhere for more than sometimes 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, you're lucky to get a good 10. 5 years. Yeah, you're lucky to get a good buck out of them. Because there are so many other opportunities. And the one, especially with the way like things were in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and even some of the 80s, you know, it was a lot of, how can I put, this was the expectation. And if a person diverted from that, oh, they were so ostracized.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, why don't you go to the mill and work there like the rest of your family? Maybe that's not what I want to do. Maybe I prefer to be more of an artsy direction. Maybe I want to be a little bit more creative. No, you have to work there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's changed.
Yeah.
That's no longer the landscape. You know, that, and I think that kind of puts us right into our next topic.
Yeah.
Which is the Great Resignation.
Right. Yes.
That has happened with COVID. It's been all over the news. It's, you know, everyone's been talking about how the job numbers, people are quitting.
Yes.
They're like, you know what, job?
You can take this and shove it.
Literally. You know, and it's what's so funny is like it's so baffling to all of the business insiders, like, wow, what are these people going to do? And everyone's like, oh, they're getting their free money from unemployment. No, they're not.
No,
that ended a while ago.
Yeah, that excuse is not working anymore. Yeah,
some states may have extended it, but even that, I think most states, they're done.
Yeah,
they're like, that free money that's dried up.
Yeah.
So that tells me people came up with stuff during COVID.
Yes, people got creative. Yeah.
They figured out, okay, I can do this and still make enough money because, one, they maybe don't have to have a commute.
Right. Yeah.
A commute costs a lot of money.
It does.
Compared to where you
keep gas, all those things. Yeah.
And it's according to where you live. Sometimes, you know, you may have to deal with public transportation. And sometimes it's faster to deal with public transportation.
It certainly is, yeah.
You know, especially if you live in a very metropolitan state or area, then you got gas, then you got daycare.
Oh, goodness.
You know, if you are a parent, honestly, in some households, it's cheaper for mom to just not work.
Yes, because daycare is a hurt piece. Yes. Daycare can be a hurt piece. And if you have multiple kids, they'll give you like a 10% discount, but
what are you going to do?
Like, thanks. I'll put that in my pocket.
I'll put my dollar towards
it's like, you know, but no, you are entirely correct with that. I think if anything that COVID taught us over this time where people had to be home and had to deal with those challenges, had to come up with solutions. I think people came up with life solutions and said, if this ever happens again, I'm never going to be in that situation again. Or people have altered their lives so much that, you know, they're working flex schedules or they're working from home, that they figured, you know, you can conceivably work from home and, you know, your kids can go to school. You can make enough money. So I've looked at some of the remote jobs. I mean, they're just as good as, you know, in-person job salaries, and you still get benefits and stuff. And I think that there's such a labor shortage. I mean, just even in our industries, you know, I saw an increase in sales. So, and I'm a small retailer. So imagine companies like Walmart and Target, their online sales skyrocketed.
They're making a killing.
So they need more customer service reps. They need more people on the back end of that.
Logistics.
To
get the products out to people.
Yeah. And they need to pay for that. So here comes a whole new slew of jobs where you could be sitting at home doing those things. So, and then there's tons of other things. I mean, there's online learning has really burgeoned because some people don't want to send their kids to in-person school. They rather them stay home where they can keep an eye on them and they can monitor their health and everything. So you've got academies online, you have tutoring online. There's all kinds of industries that were born out of this whole COVID thing, where I think people just started looking at their regular jobs and saying, especially if their regular jobs weren't prepared for this and weren't very nice to their employees, I think they were looking at it as like, I don't need to risk my life to be here, or to do this for this amount of money. So I think people really evaluated their priorities.
And I've always said, I think once we figure out healthcare, in our country, like really figure it out, not just Romney care, that I like to call it, because it's not Obamacare, because this ain't that what we have is not what Obama wanted. We have what he settled for with Romney.
Yes.
I'm not gonna go into that, but but I just like all those people that like to call it Obamacare, they ain't what he wanted.
No,
he wanted something completely different. Okay?
Yes.
He settled because he needed to get it passed so people can get their health insurance. Once we get that in place and to be even better and more economical for people, they will leave.
Yeah.
I know people personally that are at their job because of the healthcare benefits.
Yes. Yep.
That is the only reason why they are at their job.
Yeah.
Because of healthcare reasons.
Yeah.
Now, if you think about that, you want a person answering your phone that's only there because of healthcare reasons?
No.
Do you? I don't want that.
No.
Because are they going to really care about the success of my business?
No. You got to create some sort of other buy-in, and then I think that people are also wising up to the fact that a lot of these companies don't really care about you anyway. So I think we talked about it last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. I can't remember the Spanx lady, where she gave money to the employees. That's a buy-in right there. I don't see a lot of other companies doing that.
Well, there's another company before COVID happened. I think it's like a software company. I'm sure I can find it if I start searching for it. The CEO changed his salary and he made it so that everyone's salary at least starts, I believe, at $79,000.
Oh, goodness.
I could be wrong about the number, but it's pretty up there.
Yeah.
And during COVID, of course, the company had a hit.
Yeah.
So he put something out to the people and said, I will make sure that you get your back pay, but can I drop some of you down to, I guess, whatever number they needed to drop them down.
Right.
And we will make sure that you get reimbursed,
Oh, wow.
He was able to get more than what he needed of employees to do it.
Yeah.
Which that means those employees were in a good financial situation where they were able to do that because of the pay that he was giving them before. And he's already paid everyone back.
Oh, that's
he doesn't
awesome.
owe anyone anything.
That's awesome.
And those people still stayed on that job.
Yes.
His attrition rate, I think, is less than 0.005%.
Okay. See, that's buy-in right there. They've bought in. They trust him. They see that he cares.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I saw the interview with a couple of the employees that decided to take the pay cut during that time period. And the one woman, she was like, I spoke with my husband. We were fine, financially. And she was like, him and I said, you know what? He made the sacrifice of his own salary to give us this salary.
Right.
This is the least we can do during this time.
Yeah. So that's beautiful.
You don't get that type of loyalty just because a person shows up every day.
Right.
That's because they have a sense that you care about them, sense that you care about their well-being, their life.
Yeah.
They'll probably never quit. They'll probably retire from there.
Yeah.
And they're going to do everything that they can to make sure that that company is successful. If I remember now, it's a payment processing company.
Oh, okay.
And so if you think about it, I guess I don't know if they dealt with like retail stores that were brick and mortar. So if brick and mortars closed down, they're not going to get their processing percentage because they're going to get processed.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So if that's, I forget, I got to find their name, but I thought about that just as we were talking. Those people aren't included in this article.
No,
they're not included in this in the Great Resignation. Now it's just one company, but they're not included in that because they've already got the buy-in. And the thing is, they got the buy-in before it was a thing.
Before it was a thing, right?
You know, before it was the whole $15 an hour. Now, as a business owner, paying someone $15 an hour, that's going to be a little tough.
Right.
Now, if we were to get to that point where it goes gradually, that's what I suggest with the way, because you can't just go from, I don't even know what is it, $7.25? Is that the minimum wage?
$7.25, but it's supposed to jump up. I can't even follow the different
I can't follow it. Yeah. Like I know anyone that works for me, they're making $10 an hour anyway. So which is essentially about 12, 13 for me. So I think if they do it gradually, then that helps a small business owner like myself to compete. Because even though I may not have to follow that particular rule, you still have to compete with the market.
Yes.
So those things, as the small business owner, I think sometimes they don't always look out for us in Washington, but these people aren't resigning from small companies.
Right.
They're resigning from the big corporations.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
And they might be going to a smaller business and maybe even taking a pay cut.
Yeah.
And may be fine with that pay cut because they don't have to drive to work.
Right. They
might be able to make their own schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that people value that more now, because I'll tell you, I can remember in March of not last year, but the year before, when we first went through for the first real shutdown. And I remember getting the messages from the kids' school about, we're shutting down. And I was thinking to myself, because at that time I was doing the Airbnb cleaning and I had a schedule of jobs. And I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? So the kids aren't going to school. And, my timing was perfect in the sense that my jobs always occurred when the kids were in school. And I was like, okay, so now they're going to be home indefinitely. I mean, they said, I think if the first shutdown was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, they lied. They said 2 weeks, girl.
They said 2 weeks. Right. And then I was like, okay, 2 weeks, whatever. We can make it work. Right. And then it just blossomed into a longer time. But I remember thinking to myself, I was like, okay, what am I going to do about my work schedule? Now, mind you, I'm doing this as a subcontractor. I'm doing this under my own business. So I make up my own time and, but I still, when you have commitments to other people, especially with cleaning, as you know, and you got to be there because with Airbnb, I have to have the place cleaned so that someone can check in, the next person. So I really can't blow it around. Right. They can't blow it off. Right. So, and I had tried hiring employees to help, but it's difficult. I mean, it was difficult before for that type of thing because there's so many other ways to make money. But I'm getting off track. My point is that what it made important to me to realize is that I have to be able to master my own schedule. I have to be able to schedule things when I need to, because if my kids ever are having to come home and I have to work outside of the home, that's just not going to work because there was no daycares. It's not even like that was the sad part for a lot of people, is that not only were the schools closed, you couldn't even send your kid to a daycare all day so that you could go to work because they were closed too. They had to be closed. And then so when the businesses started closing and then people said you can work from home, that made things a lot better because a lot of people were trying to figure out, how am I going to get to work? Who's going to watch my kids online at home? I mean, if you have teenagers, that's one thing, but if you've got school age kid trying to do Zoom without your assistance,
girl,
that doesn't work.
So, every day. I mean, I had to change my whole life for online school.
Yeah.
And I have always said I am so thankful I didn't have a regular job.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if I did, I would have had to quit.
Yeah.
And it would not have worked.
Yeah.
Because I know that particular job that I had at that time, well, around close to that, the last one I had, they would have been like, we need you to answer these phones. Now, and then even when I thought, okay, we're back to normal, and I said, let me go back to the job force, didn't work.
No.
Because, my son, he went to school for 2 weeks and was out for 2 weeks because of a COVID scare in his classroom.
Yeah.
So that taught me, okay.
Right.
It's not gone. So no. I need to put myself in a situation where it doesn't matter what happens with school. Right. I can still make money.
Right.
Or I need to take my talents elsewhere if I'm at a job that didn't care about me.
Right.
Yeah. If I was at a job that didn't help or didn't care during this COVID time period, seeing all the jobs that were out there, I would have taken my talents elsewhere.
Right. I think a lot of people are doing that. Yeah. I think a lot of people are doing that.
So I like the phrase, people don't leave bad companies, they leave bad managers.
Yes. Very true. Yeah. I mean, and you got to think that anybody who had to manage this crisis as a manager, if they weren't particularly good in that role anyway, this definitely stretched their limits, so
if they weren't good with technology, you had one of those managers that are like, I don't know how do you download this Excel spreadsheet, and now they got to be on a Zoom. And you're having a Zoom call and it looks like this. Now I need you guys to, oh, y'all can't see me. How's that?
Right.
That's how it was for some people. Meanwhile, you like, Lord,
you're right. Yes,
overcome. Like
watching some of these Zooms were hilarious.
Oh my goodness! And then people didn't realize, they didn't, like, for us, we're always on a Zoom. We were Zooming before it was a thing.
That's true. Very true. Right. Yeah.
That was how I did a lot of like my coaching with people. Was I used some type of Zoom, or I had another service that I used, and so that was something I was familiar with. But even helping like my own family members, like my mom, she's in her 70s and she's going to school. She's like, I'm supposed to be in class online. How do I do this?
Oh no.
Because her thing is she can get the assignment done. She just got to find it. So it brought out those that how can I say, aren't flexible and don't know how to do things like on the fly.
Right. Yes.
With COVID.
Yeah.
It exposed a lot. And I remember actually seeing an article in the middle of the shutdown where companies realized some of the middle managers they didn't need anymore.
They were unnecessary.
They're like, wait a minute, we don't need them. We just need the people that are actually doing the work.
Right. I can think of a lot of jobs that I had where if when I worked there, we had been going through the pandemic and that crisis, they would have not known. I mean, they were just there in name only, like as management for years, being
job
there.
Justifiers.
Right, exactly. And it's like, I can't even imagine what their what they look like if they were still working at that time. But yeah, no, this was show and prove. And I think for families and even people who didn't have families, there's a lot of single people that had to evaluate, what they were doing, just because everybody had to evaluate your health. You had to evaluate your time. I mean, there was a lot of people who moved from cities to more rural areas just because, you know, they felt safer doing that. And so they had to find positions. If their positions couldn't be turned into a remote position, they had to find positions in the rural area. And I just read an article that some of these people are trying to return back to cities because they think it's safe again. And the rental market is ridiculous. So they can't even afford what they left a year and a half ago. They can't afford to rent it because the rents have skyrocketed, you know. So if you have the ability to move, you know, for the pandemic reasons, because I was trying to move into an apartment, funny enough, before I decided to build. I was trying to move into an apartment and they were already like sold out. I showed up for a showing at an apartment. There was 7 other people there.
For a showing?
Yes, and I was sitting in my car and I went to the, one of the people and I said, "Are you here to see that house or to see that apartment?" And they said, "Yeah." "Are you the realtor?" And I said, "No, I'm here to see it too." And they were like, "Yeah." And then another couple came around the corner. I said, "What, did they schedule us all at the same time?"
It was probably easier.
And then no agent showed up. We never got in.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So this was probably right at the beginning of the shutdown and stuff. And I was just trying to get an apartment. And so I looked at this one spot and it was horrible. People weren't calling because that's when the market started really surging. Agents weren't calling you back. You were putting in to go see houses or to go see apartments and stuff, or see rentals. I'll put it that way because it was a cross between both. But to see rentals, and like the next day, they're like, it's already, it's gone. Right.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, people had moved to like Colorado and stuff. Want to move back to New York. Want to move back to.
Can't afford that now.
Can't afford that now.
Can't afford that now.
Can't afford that now. Yeah. So there's all kinds of reasons why people decided, I think, to reevaluate their lives because of this pandemic. And it's just interesting. I think our work world is going to be forever changed.
Oh, definitely.
You know? Definitely.
So, well, that brings us in to talk about nav.com. Now, Nikki, we've talked about this before. Nav.com is a great small business solution to help you to know where you are on your business and personal credit. It gives you great explanations on how to start a business and how to continue your financial future on nav.com. You can always use the link in our description box to sign up. We greatly appreciate it.
We do. Yes. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about one thing that I was like, I don't know, but it's so, how can I say? It is business related because it's about marketing.
Yeah.
So if you have been under a rock or you're not into pop culture, you probably don't know who LIL Nas X is. But I feel that LIL Nas X is the world's greatest marketer.
Yeah.
Because he has figured out how to shock and awe people to the point that they're always talking about him. So I saw this on Facebook the other day. So I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to share it so we can all see it. I thought it was so hilarious.
Okay.
And I was just like, I was like, he can't be stopped because it's too funny. All right. So I'm just waiting for, of course, the screen to do its thing. And then once it does, then we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Anytime now. But the thing that I do like with LIL Nas X, especially in the beginning, was he had a song that was on the country charts and they just took it off.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, "Oh no, it's not a country song. No, he's not a country artist. He's not a country song. No. This isn't right. This isn't going to work." So he decided, well, actually I can't say that he decided, but Billy Ray Cyrus came into his life and said, "I'm going to re-record it with you So it automatically has a country artist on it. So they can't now say it's not a country song.
Right.
Which I thought was quite genius and very
Genius.
good
Yes.
of Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yes.
You know, if you don't know who that is, well, for you young kids, that would be Miley Cyrus's daddy. And for people our age, he's the one that sings Achy Breaky Heart.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
I do remember that it came with a dance and a whole thing. I think
Achy Breaky.
Yeah, he came out at the perfect time because they had that's like when like the line dancing and stuff like that like started. So okay, good. Get ready to watch it. And okay. So this is what LIL Nas X has been promoting for the last, I would say like the last week or so.
Okay.
So as soon as my computer is right, come on, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. All right, we're gonna add our bad boy. We're gonna change our screen lighting, and we're gonna play what he's been doing, which I think is really good of him. I'm like, oh, is there people on here that? Okay. I had to make sure. I'm like, oh, it does go to Facebook. I'm like, oh, are there people on here that I can't make a comment about? So I think what he did was so good. And is the sound coming through? Are you guys able to hear the sound?
No, now it is.
My man, shocked. Was married. He and Jai have been together for about a month and a half.
You're a liar.
With a child. This might be your baby, Maury.
Is Jai the dad?
In the name. A 4-year-old Noah.
Oh, Montero get exactly what he wants. One more.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. If you about his music, he has a music video where he's dating a guy, and obviously the guy's on the down low, and he has a whole family, and he's like trying to profess his love, and he wants to basically like kind of in a way come out to the wife and whatever. And he kind of took that music video and he got Maury involved with this.
I love it.
I think this is so great. So all right, this is what I think about LIL Nas X. This is my thought process. So talking about what happened with his first song, Old Town Road, how they went and put it on the charts and all that stuff. I think Billy Ray Cyrus took him to the side and said, this is how you get famous.
Yeah.
And the reason why I think that is because we all remember Miley Cyrus during her Hannah Montana days.
Yes.
And then she went from Hannah Montana to swinging on a pole, twerking everywhere, immersing herself into Black culture, being a little bit extra. And I recall one time, it was like a red carpet interview. Someone asked Billy Ray about his daughter, like, how do you feel about all this risque, raunchy stuff that she's doing and whatnot? And he was like, she has a plan and she's working on her plan. I'm very proud of all her success. And I'm like, I ain't never heard no dad say nothing like that.
Yeah.
And then then it's funny, once she got the fame, then she went back to this quiet, reserved Miley.
Yeah.
Singing songs in the middle of a cornfield, written by Dolly Parton. Okay. Because I will say, I never really thought she was a great singer, but I heard her sing Jolene. Yeah. And I was like, oh, so she can sing. She just don't. Okay. And I'm like, she did all of that because now, she came in like a wrecking ball. Now she's a household name. Everyone knows who she is. She's famous.
Yeah.
And I think her daddy told LIL Nas X, this is what you do to get famous. Yes. Yeah. And then we see all of this happening. And I think in the next couple years, we're going to see a more toner, tamed down, maybe more family man version of him. but he did the shock and the awe first.
Yeah.
To get everyone talking about him, put him on the Shade Room every week.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's two things too about like Miley Cyrus and Billy Ray Cyrus and Hannah Montana. I mean, I have watched the Hannah Montana show. You know, I've watched.
Had no choice.
Had no choice. You know, so I know the premise. But a lot of the things that they talk about, it's about marketing. I mean, the premise of the show is that she has two identities. She has her regular self, and then she has her persona, right? Which is Hannah Montana. So doing a whole show about that, both him and her were in the show. It shows that, and he's her producer. He's the man, he's her man. Like he's behind her, but doing a show like that shows that they know psychologically how to affect people and how to, move people, so to speak. So it wouldn't surprise me if, seeing somebody like LIL Nas X coming up with his song. I mean, like you said, which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Did they already have a working relationship, or did it come afterwards? I mean, who knows? But let's seeing somebody like that and saying, hey, you want to capitalize on this and don't be a one-hit wonder. You might want to do this. You might want to sway this. I mean, the next thing he did is he did like an occult thing where, he's got a video where he's the devil, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was
like the devil. Crazy. And then he was selling sneakers that had like fake blood in them, or maybe they did. I don't.
Yes.
And then Nike was like, we ain't part of this.
Yeah. And you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Madonna. And just like a prayer. Yes, exactly.
Singing in front of burning crosses.
Yes, using the religious symbolism. But in his case, he was using the devil symbolism. But I feel like we're always being marketed to be honest. I don't know. Whenever people do outrageous things, I'm with you. I'm always questioning, like, okay, is this real or is this Memorex? Like I don't put anything, and just people align to certain things. There are people who strongly dislike LIL Nas X because of that whole blood thing and sneakers, the devil thing. And then there's people he's got, because he has come out and he's, he is gay and stuff. He has a whole community of people behind him there. And that like the fact that he's so open about his sexuality and he's so comfortable with it. So he has a market there as well. And people will stand behind him no matter what, because of some of his proclamations, because of how confident he is about who he is.
Right.
So everybody loves that. Everybody loves confidence and stuff. So, but at the end of the day, we are always being marketed to, I think. And I think any of his stunts, you got to look at his market. My girls love LIL Nas X. They're 8 years old. They don't understand the psychology of marketing yet. I try to teach them little things because they'll come to me.
They trying to hear all that.
They trying to hear all that. They're
like, girls.
They don't care. I know. So that's, and unfortunately they're 8 years old, and some of the things that he shows is not necessarily appropriate for them, but they know who he is. They can sing Old Town Road to the T. They know all the words. They like that new song that's out. They know all the words to that. They don't necessarily understand what they're seeing when they see his, they
don't know the imagery.
A picture of him being pregnant. Or something.
Yes.
Yeah. So
he knew people want to be up in arms, and he did it anyway.
Yeah, they don't necessarily understand.
It didn't affect me because I know you can't get pregnant.
Right.
In fact, if you look, I want to see you get pregnant and have a baby. I want to see you try, because I've done it. I want to see you try.
I want to see the whole thing.
Yeah.
But they don't understand those things as kids. So I find somebody like him is challenging to me as a parent to try to explain, this is marketing. This is to get you talking. They think it's cool. So, or they've never seen anything like that. So, but that's who he's targeting. Somebody like you and I, where we can kind of critically evaluate and put two and two together and say, and I agree with you. I think in a couple of years, you'll have a more like LIL Nas X, who's like a Dr. Dre or something, like somebody who is now, primed and ready to start producing his own acts and start creating some sort of an empire based off of his. But you're right, he's a household name. You will never not, or well, you're saying that about Miley, but he's a household name too. I mean, even some people, and it's funny getting started in the country world. He's a household name there as well.
And he hasn't even really released another song that went on the country charts.
Yes.
At least that I'm aware of, to be quite honest, because I don't really watch or listen to that genre much, but I do like Nikki Guyton because
I like her too.
I like her. I like the song that she sings about our hair.
Yeah.
About loving our hair. And she has that song Black Like Me.
Yes.
Which I was quite surprised to hear on a country music station.
Yeah.
They go, wow, they playing that? Okay. Yeah. Because which is funny to me, they always think of a country music or a country western artist as a white artist.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they sound just like the Black people I used to listen to growing up.
Yes. Well, country music has its roots in
that's where it came from.
That's right. In Black music. Not to everybody's got a contribution to it, but honestly, it's all in that. Come on, we Black people was in the South. You don't think there was no influence there? I mean, it's back and forth. It's just,
it sounds just like how Black church would sound back in the day.
Yes.
They just put a sad story on top of it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I look at LIL Nas X and I'm just like, okay, I'm getting it. I get what you're doing. Like, I'm not offended. I think because as I get older, things don't really upset me much that come out in the press. I might have a comment or two, but I'm going on with the rest of my day.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. So, I do want to catch that Maury though. I do want to see that because I just think that's so ingenious. I'm like,
it's so perfect. You get the Maury. I mean, he used to be a host on, I forget what the name of the show was, but it was one of those expose type.
Current Affair?
That's it, a current affair. And then he got the talk show and he figured out, that's another person. He figured out his genre. His genre was, that baby ain't mine.
Do you remember we used to watch Maury? We used to watch all those talk shows.
Remember Richard Bay?
Oh, yes.
That used to be our show, girl. Richard Bay. The Richard Bay show?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. That used to be the show to watch.
Yeah.
Because that was a local show for us. I think they did it in Jersey or somewhere.
Yeah.
And I forget which channel it came on, but that was our show.
Yes. Okay. I used to love me some Richard Bay. But
my gosh, I loved that show.
Yeah. But LIL Nas X is genius in using the Maury reference too, because Maury spans 2 generations of people who know who he is and know that whole "you are not the father." So even though my kids have no idea who Maury Povich is, I know who he is.
You know who he is.
LIL Nas X is. Everybody in between our age group knows who Maury is. So he brings in all that. It's tremendous. He could teach a marketing class.
He sure could. You know who teaches? Actually, I think what she teaches is brand marketing. What is her name? Tyra Banks.
Okay, I can see that.
She teaches
big brand. Yeah,
she teaches brand marketing. I was listening to Sway in the Morning one time, and he, I don't know if it's every show, but he likes to put on an up and coming artist.
Okay,
and he'll drop their track and then he'll talk to them. And I'll never forget the name of the song, and it was really catchy.
Okay.
It was like, I'm just trying to live, or something like that. It was really catchy, the way the chorus went. And Tyra Banks was coming on next, and she was like, who is that guy? And they put him on the phone. She gave him she named him. She was like, no, that's not your name no more. She was like, she listened to his song. She was like, that's your name.
Yeah.
And she was like, and you can put in your bio, Tyra Banks named you. She gave him a whole plan of how to market himself.
Yeah.
in the rap industry.
Okay.
Her whole name, and she was like, "Listen, it's not about a name that makes sense. It's about a name that gets people talking."
Yeah.
She was like, "Do you think 2 Chainz walks around with 2 chains?" She was like, "No." But they're like, "Who's this guy named 2 Chainz?"
Right. It's memorable. Yeah.
It's memorable because actually, if I'm right, 2 Chainz used to be out as a different artist, and he didn't pop.
Yeah.
He popped when he came out as 2 Chainz.
Yeah.
So, that got me thinking about like what you were talking about, where he's figured out his brand.
Yeah.
He figured out the brand. He knows and I say shock and awe, but to me, it's not shock and awe. It's I want to get y'all talking, and I want to get on the shade room, because really, once you get on the shade room one time, you've made it.
Yes.
Yeah. Unless we say something outrageous, we ain't hitting the shade room.
It's goals.
Right. But once you reach the shade room, you've pretty much made it. Because now they're going to keep following what you do. And once you do something next that's outrageous, it's going on the shade room.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't know what the shade room is, you ain't doing your work.
Right. Yeah.
So he figured it out. Because honestly, also, the Kardashians do the same daggone thing.
Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kim had that one cover where she was naked, and she had the drink flowing over top her, hitting her butt. Of course, that wasn't how that really happened. That was all added later. But it got the internet talking.
Yeah, I think she shut down the internet.
She shut down the internet.
Yeah.
Okay. When Beyonce comes out with a new line, it hits the shade room, shuts everything down.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, really, that's really the goal for a lot of these. I'm going to say, I hate to say it like this, but D-list celebrities who go on these reality shows that are just famous for being famous for being on a reality show. Their whole goal is so that they can make the shade room, because then they become memorable.
Yes. Yeah.
Then they can market that. Oh, we got a comment. Who's commenting? We got a comment.
What is it?
I'm going to show it.
My mom's going to miss the shade.
She said, "Where's the shade room?" Well, Mrs. Flamer, let me tell you what the shade room is. The shade room is a social media page where whatever happens in pop culture that they feel is memorable, they list it. So if like the big thing was, I guess, the baby kicked out his girlfriend.
Okay.
Out of their house. So he posted things on social media, and so did the girlfriend. So they take it and they compilate it together and say, "Oh, look, so and so's having problems."
Yeah.
And they put that together. You know how expensive it is to market on the shade room? It is not cheap.
Is it really?
Okay? It's not cheap. I checked. Okay.
Is it? Would you categorize it as gossipy, more or less?
Yes, I would say it's more gossipy.
Yeah.
But they also get political.
Yeah, they have.
And it's not just, I would say, urban lifestyle. You'll see all colors and flavors, because that's a thing now.
Yeah.
Just like what's the other gossip place that has a show?
TMZ.
TMZ.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
TMZ. That was to be a thing. Oh, I got on TMZ. Now I get it.
TMZ used to leak stuff. Yeah. They get info ahead of time. Yeah.
It used to be TMZ. You're like, oh, it came on TMZ. I don't know if it's true.
Right.
Now it's on TMZ. I know it's true.
Right. They're legitimate now.
It's legitimate.
Yeah.
CNN will say TMZ is now reporting.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
They are using them as a source.
Yeah.
They've come a long way. But I think with LIL Nas X, he has, obviously, I don't think it's all him. It's obviously his team. But they have figured out, okay, this is what's going to make you pop. This is what's going to bring you in to be a household name, so that mom, dad, kids, and grandmom know who the heck you are. After about a couple of years, is he really going to even have to put out a song?
Right. No. Well, like again, with the comparison to Madonna, I mean, she did all that stuff that was controversial, and now, I mean, nobody.
She don't even let her kids watch TV.
Right. Her kids watch TV, and nobody questions her integrity, her spiritualism. She had that whole Kabbalah phase for a while. I mean, there's all these
she
different
talks
things.
like she's British.
She talks like she's British. Like, it got her where she needed to be to make the money. And I get for Lil Nas X, if he was looking at even at that as some sort of a person to follow, I mean, you only got 15 minutes, and you got to extend that 15 minutes for as long as possible. And then if you are a performer, you're constantly putting out content, but that's a swayed type of opinion. People will listen to a song, will love a song because they hear it played repetitively hundreds and hundreds of times. And really, you're selling your personality. Lil Nas X's music is, I would say slightly above mediocre. His sound. I mean, he's not
a battle rapper.
No, I wouldn't definitely not put him in like the top 10 MCs of anything list.
No.
But he's a performer. He knows how to dress. He knows what colors to use. He knows what kind of
paint his nails.
He knows to paint his nails. He knows to come out with I think was it the Grammys last year or something. He came out with the Korean pop band, K-pop. Everybody knows K-pop is big. So he came out with BTS. And my girls tell me who I know who they are in passing. I don't know, but
I only know they had like one song that literally came on the radio like every
this summer.
Hours.
Yeah.
That's all I know about that.
But for the youngsters, K-pop is big.
Oh, that's
K-pop,
big.
They know all the artists and stuff. It's big. But he did that. So he had Billy Ray Cyrus, he had the BTS, and he had another group or something. And then there was him, and they did a whole Grammy montage. He knows how to bring all these different things together. And it's wise behind his years. So he probably does have a good team behind him. But, that's what it takes to be a star. That's what it takes to be the next Michael Jackson, if anybody can ever be that. But that's what it takes. So
that's a lot to put on your shoulders to try and be like Michael Jackson. But,
yeah.
Wow.
I think, if anybody could do it, Lil Nas X could do it.
Well, they're saying Drake might be close.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But, but Michael Jackson did it without social media.
Oh my gosh, he did it without social media. He just put on stunts. He used his body, his face, and
he talked just like this, even though that's not how he really talked.
Yeah. He used that Neverland Ranch. Weird. I mean, he just did crazy stuff. And I don't think any of those were stunts. I would think he was just living his best life.
He was like, I want to be a kid again. Make my house an amusement park. That's what I want. I have enough money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, wow. Well, this got a little long, but I think it's good. Well, we're hoping that you got something out of our conversation today. But we talked about using your skills as a parent to help you with pitching your business. You got to be able to lie to your kids. Got to lie to investors. No, not lie to them, but maybe just
reframe the information.
The information and make sure that it provides a solution for your customers.
That's right. Yeah.
And then the Great Resignation, that is happening, and it's going to probably continue to happen until companies decide, we need to value our employees, not just the customers.
Right.
So that's happening. And of course, Mr. Lil Nas X, it's his moment.
Yeah.
And if you are, I'm not saying you have to do what he does, but he figured out of what he is doing that gets people to talk. That's the name of the game right now.
That's right.
Is, can you trend? If you can trend, that's the name of the game right now.
Yes.
So that's if that's if you want to.
Yeah.
I'm happy not trending.
I can use some trending in my life. I don't know. I can use some trending.
If Resellqueen is trending, it's probably not good.
Right. But you know what? We'll talk about this after the show, but I think there's another topic we can pull up just from that. Yeah.
Just from that. There we go.
For next week. Yeah.
Well, has been another installment of Entrepremommies. I am Tiffy T, the Resellqueen.
And I'm Nicole Flamer.
And we are the mommies that handle business.
Yes.
Bye.
At Entrepremommies, we share from experience. Moms talk about things that affect moms in general. The mommy entrepreneurs, we are the moms that handle business, and that means a lot.